gonna say, really excited in this studio today. We got Jadu, one of my oldest friends. We went in high school together in Ghana, and all of that stuff. We actually, we used to live in the same state. You used to live out here in Virginia, in Richmond, and we weren't too far. But now we are too far apart. You live in Florida now. I still live out here in Virginia.
Yeah, we still
But you're
living in
doing your
US
thing.
though.
I know you're still here doing your thing. I'm doing my thing as well too.
Yes,
Folks,
sir.
my name is, as always, my name is Gideon. I have two podcast channels. There's the Africa Chat, and then there's the Fact of Life. So you may catch this episode that particularly because it's really important to me. You may catch it on both podcasts. I got one of my oldest friends. He's actually a musician. He has a new music out, and that's what we are here about to talk about today. So his name is Jadu. Jadu, welcome to Africa Chat
Yo,
and
thanks for
Fact of
having me.
Life. No
Thanks for
worries.
having me, bro. Thanks for having
No
me.
worries.
I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy here too. I'm happy over my end too, man. We've talked about this for a while, and we've been trying to get to sit down and talk about a few things, reminisce about the past and stuff like that. But and you know how the deal goes. It's busy. Everybody's life is busy, so we just try to come up with a time to sit down and actually talk about a few other things. So tell me, man, how's life been going on with you in Florida?
Bro, I mean, for starters, the weather is perfect, The weather
I know.
reminds me of Ghana, so that's the best thing ever, Yeah, but apart from that, life is good, Can't complain at all. Like I'm enjoying my life right now because I'm living in the presence, bro. I mean, that's all I'm doing right now.
Yeah, that's nice to hear, man. I was reading something that I posted yesterday. I posted it, but then I went back and read it again. Even though I posted it, I kind of each time I went back two, three times and read it, I kind of understood and had a little bit more reinforcement about what I posted. I said, whatever will be, will be.
Yes,
And so I
sir.
went back again and I read it again. I was like, what did I even mean? And then I started reminiscing about my own life, where I started, where some of us started wasn't really so good. And now we are here. So whatever will be, and I was asking myself, was this always where I was meant to be? I don't know. Did God know from the beginning of time this is where you're gonna end up? And I didn't know that. And like I said, the ultimate decider is God at the end of the day. But hey, let's talk about you, man. So
Whatever will be, will be.
it will be whatever will be, will be.
Will
So I
be.
remember a few years ago, you and I were having a conversation, and then because both of us we are really like into music, music enthusiasts here. I want to call myself. I know
Hmm.
you are actually doing the music, so now you are even far out more than I am right now. So I remember a few years ago you were talking about it, the love and the interest you want. And fast forward today, at that point I was like, okay, okay, okay. I knew you could do it, but since you hadn't started it, I was like, okay, let's see what how far my brother is able to go. But now as I can see you have a few hits out there, you're actually doing good. You're featuring some of the biggest stars in Ghana and making music. So what really inspired your music career all these years? What tell me about it?
As for the music, it's something it's a part of me. My great grandfather did it. My
Okay.
grandfather did it. Um, my grandfather from both sides of my family, my mom's side, my dad's side, they all do music. And then my senior brother, XT, he also did music. He actually used to do music with the people like Batman, who's now Samini,
Oh
Gogomi,
wow.
who is now Moogie. So that was his people. They actually all had music together that was released. So it's something that I picked up growing up. So entertainment, as you know, I was entertainment prefect back in high school,
Yeah,
our high
yeah,
school.
I
The
did.
same year, Sussex. So we all went to Sussex. So I was entertainment prefect at that time. So it's something I've been doing for a long time as a hobby, But as we came to the States and I was able to put, one and two things together. And I felt like, it's about time. I felt like I was right to actually like, pursue this as a career now instead of just doing it as a, like, a hobby. So Yeah. But what actually wants me to actually put it out there for the public consumption is mainly because I see music as a medium, to
Yeah.
transfer experience, either like advice, happiness. So for me, I'm just trying to give back to the world what God has given me, which is my talent, which is about music. So if I'm happy, I'm going to record a happy song. Hopefully, it makes you happy. So I'm giving back.
Right.
If like
Right.
I learned some hard lesson and I don't want you to go through it,
You can put it in
I might
music.
tell you, but I don't know the other person. So what I'm going to do is start putting into music so that at least it can go further,
Go out
so
there.
other people can, get to also hear about it. So I'll say what's actually pushing me to do this is because I want to be able to carry some message and put it out. So whatever I see that I think people should need to know about, I want to use music as a medium to get that message
to
out.
to to get that done.
Yeah,
I get that a lot. I think I've heard that a lot too, where people say a lot of musicians and a lot of people that actually do creative arts, even myself. I had a few thoughts. For example, there was just so many things that were going on in the society that I felt I had to say something about it. I had a voice, and sometimes I felt like I was talking to myself, or the people that I was talking to weren't interested. And so I figured that, okay, well,
exactly.
what if I could come up with something that when I put out there, eventually there will be people that are interested to hearing what I'm saying. Because it couldn't just be me that has those thoughts. It could not just be me that has those thoughts or that have those ideas about certain topics in the society. And lo and behold, I was like, I found out, I started doing the research, and I found out about maybe I could do a podcast. So that's when I started doing it, and I've been getting a lot of positive feedbacks. I've had new connection through this podcast, and I
Nice.
have like diehard fans that even when I post, I don't announce that, hey, I posted a episode, that by the time I get back, they already listen to it or watch it on YouTube. So I understand what you're saying and where you're coming from. It makes sense. Sometimes you just want to express yourself. So music is also one of the ways to express yourself. And so now here we are, and you're doing pretty good at it too. And tell me, I know how
Yeah,
you
man.
you're
Appreciate
somehow, yeah, I know somehow most part of how your music uh, creativity started, but most people out there don't know, and they don't know about you. So let's use this opportunity to talk about it. Tell us about how your creative process starts. How do you write, and how do you end up recording the music in the studio per se?
Yeah. So I don't have a set, or a standard procedure for writing or doing music, but it comes in multiple ways. So, for instance, I could be sleeping, and then like something would just hit me. Hey, like I sometimes create music while sleep. Not sometimes, most times I create my music while sleeping. So I'll
Oh
be
wow.
sleeping, and the rhythm just comes. Even sometimes the words comes. So I'll just get up because I don't want to disturb my wife. I'll go to the bathroom and record it on my phone. And then so I'll get a melody and the idea down, and then in the morning I'll sit down and then put it together. So get a melody right, get the lyrics right, and then I'll send it over to my producer back in Ghana or wherever in the US, and then they'll play the beat, and then we take it from there. And I'll just have to sit down and write a verse, and then the second verse, or I'll give the second verse to somebody else. Or sometimes, if it's during the daytime, I can just come into my studio and then just record it down. Then sometimes too, I find a nice beat online and I lease it and I just listen to the beat and then come up with a melody and then write to it. Sometimes it can take me about 15 minutes to finish a song, or 20 minutes, or
Oh
one
wow,
hour.
that's
It depends on the
that's great.
vibe. But
Yeah.
there are some songs that takes me like a month. I know some songs that I have that's been like 2 years that I've not even finished yet. So it just depends on the type of song and then the message I'm trying to to put inside. Yeah. A song that I love. I love this song. No Be Me. It's one of my old songs. That song took me about 20 minutes max to finish recording. I just
Wow.
came to the studio. I was in the mood. Actually, I was just trying to praise God in that song for all the things he did for me. So
Yeah.
when I came to the studio, luckily I found a nice beat at the same time. So I just started like within 20 minutes I was done. So it just depends on what I'm trying to do, the message I'm trying to convey, and how the message comes to me. Yeah. Sometimes somebody will send me a song, then I have to jump on it, so I just listen to the chorus and then get a subject matter, and then I can let write to that. Then sometimes I can just pick a topic. Then I
Right.
want to write on this
Right.
topic. Then I'll just come up with whatever I want to write about it.
It seems like
Okay.
sometimes you take it easy, sometimes you don't, and then that's just what life is. It's I always make a lot of quotations when I'm talking to people or when I'm on this podcast. And one of my famous, most favorite motivational speaker is he's called Les Brown. He says,
Okay.
sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. Now that's that thing called life. Sometimes you take it easy, sometimes you just don't. And that's just what life is. So as you were saying, I'm just thinking about it, and I was like, basically, he's just describing how life is for him,
Mhm.
and that's really nice to hear from another person's perspective, and that tells me I'm not alone. We
Uh,
all go through that phase.
we are
We
all
all
in
have.
this together.
Right, right, right. So can you share particularly like a challenging moment in your music since you started, like that you've actually overcame or not? I mean, it doesn't matter. We fail sometimes, we succeed. So what is that thing that you actually have right on top of your mind right now that is really or was really challenging since you started? And did you overcome it or not?
Yeah. So for me, I think it was coming to America. That was the challenge I had because I was already doing music at Cape Coast University when I was in university in Ghana. So I was getting very good at it at that time. I was getting recognition at
Okay.
least on campus. So coming to the US, you already know. I mean, I actually came to the US. I was also doing music the first year,
Yeah.
but then the reality hits, and you have to work. You got to pay the bills.
You gotta
You know
start your life over as immigrant. I know you start
exactly.
over.
So like
It's like you were just born again, and now you're
yes, like
grown
you
up.
put it right, perfectly right. So I just restarted my life. So especially when I moved out from my uncle's house to get my own apartment and start doing things on my own. Yeah, it was reality check. I started losing my creative, process. Like everything was now like bills.
Because
Everything
you
was like,
have to concentrate on other things to survive. The survivor
yeah,
instinct kicks in, and it
exactly.
overrides everything that you have to do. Trust me, I know.
Yeah,
I know. I've been there, so I know exactly what you're saying.
exactly.
So I know you already mentioned some few people in your family line that actually do music that I know of. I also know them. Is Are there any other biggest musical influences in your life? Does anybody else influence you at all apart from these people?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, of course, definitely Tupac, and then Tupac definitely influenced me a lot. I grew up listening to him because my brothers were always listening to him, and then Bob Marley was also a very great influence to me. My dad always listened to him too, so I grew up listening to
Yeah,
him. And then when I compared their music to the music around, it stood out. So they happen to be my greatest influences. But when we talk about our peers, I would say Manifest, I would say Stonebwoy, I would say Sarkodie, Shatawale, and then yeah, I think
big ups
for
to the big
peers,
S.
yeah, those would be my for the PS wise. But then also in America, I think J. Cole is definitely one of those people
J.
that
Cole.
influenced
J.
me.
Cole.
Yeah.
So you said that you were starting to get a lot of recognition in Ghana. And so this question is going to be two-faced.
Mhm.
What was your biggest performance or what was your favorite performance if you ever had that in Ghana? And then have you gotten some here and how did that go? If you actually had a performance here as well.
Yeah. So in Ghana, I would say 2-1 when I was in campus before I left to come to the state. There was a whole week, vocal whole week. So that was
Oh,
a
that
very
was
big
huge.
platform. Everybody
Yeah.
on campus was present, and
Okay.
it was a great performance. I think people were knowing my songs. I didn't know, So when you get on stage and you are performing and people are like, singing a song back to you,
That's what happens. Yeah.
yeah, it was a vibe. So everybody was like vibing with the song. And I'm like, wow, I didn't know people were like, paying attention to this song like that. So that was really, really, really great. I always remember that. But then my
Yeah, they're
most
watching.
recent, sorry,
I was saying they're watching. If
oh
like this
yeah,
part, I'm telling you, I just said this. I just said it to one of my he's my mentor, Dr. Ayo. I have a few recordings, a few episodes with Dr. Ayo as well. He writes
okay,
book. He's a doctor. He's from Nigeria. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just wanted to chip this in. And when I started this podcast, and he was one of the first. I didn't know him. He was one of the first people that reached out, and I was like, oh wow. This is a big man. He's a
okay,
doctor of art. He's a professor. He's actually currently
big time.
teaches in colleges and schools like that. And then he's like, oh, I'm reaching out to you. And then he calls me. He treats me like a peer. He's much older than me. He could be my dad. And then he calls me my brother, like, and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know people were paying attention. And then off late, I hadn't looked at my stats for my podcast. And then, was it 2 weeks ago? I went back to look at it, and it's like all the way up there. And the amount of people
Nice,
listening and streaming
congrats.
it in a single day. Thank you. I was like, whoa, wow. So they're really watching, And he told me that he's like, people that resonate with you, they will always find a way to find you.
Yeah,
And so that's what happened to you. You
that's a
do
good way
stuff
to put it.
you don't think people are
Yeah.
really paying attention, but you always find the people that really care about what you're doing, and you
Mm-hmm.
can reach out to and resonate doing what you're doing, because at the end of the day, it's not just you. It's not just you that feel like that. There are people that feel like doing the exact same thing you're doing. They just don't
Yeah.
want to. They just don't have been able to say, for lack of better words, got the courage yet to do it, or
Mhm.
they just want to look up to someone to do it so they could start.
Yeah,
So if
that
it's
one
not
too.
you and me, then who? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So
Um,
one other question that's been on my mind. Like again, I've seen your music revolve over the years, right? What would you say personally? Now that we have you here, that we're having this conversation, what has the growth been like for you?
yeah, I mean, it's been exponential. And I'll attribute it to like just consistency.
Yeah,
Again, like I mentioned, my challenge was coming, but as after I was able to like get myself together, like get acclimatized to the US, I started like making time for myself. Now I have my own musical setup in my house. I don't go to the studio no more. I do everything at home, and I record a lot. So I have a lot of music. So that's what I would say is the consistency. Redoing. Now I have the time. I can take a verse. I can do a verse like maybe 10 times if I feel like it.
right,
Yeah. So I'm getting to that stage where like I'm perfecting the craft
right.
than before. So like I'll
Yeah,
say mainly
I can
consistency.
see that. I can really see that. And hey, we because you just mentioned that, let's talk about your latest biggest song. That I call it the biggest song because that is the biggest song I've ever heard from you. I don't know.
No,
I've heard a few other ones, but that is your biggest song that I've ever heard from you.
no
That is
problem.
actually,
More to come.
I'm really proud of you, man, because
Yeah.
you got other big artists that are from Ghana too. I know they may not be so known in America, but they're really big and known in Ghana. Some of these people I like to meet. I've never met them, and then you
Don't
had the
worry.
opportunity to have songs with them. So tell me, let's talk about Kromayeshi. Kromayeshi. So basically, for the tree speaking listeners, Kromayeshi means basically the town is hot. Basically, when someone says they need money, they need to hustle, and times are hard. Basically, times are hard. That's the title of the song. And he's got strong man. See how I'm excited? Because I am. I'm really excited. He's
That's good
got
to know.
strong man.
Glad you're excited.
I know. I am excited. When I saw that, I was like, "Oh my man, wow, he's really he's finally done." I was watching, and you've been doing good, progressing just like you said. And then when I saw that, I was like, "Okay, finally, this is it." for me, this is it for him. I know he has more that he's working on and stuff like that we probably might not be able to talk about. But with Strongman, John Friday, and I think Eugene on the
Eugene all
song.
day.
Let's talk
Yeah.
about it. How did the song come about, man? How did you even come about this song? Or is this a remix or this? I'll ask the questions one after the other, but talk to me about Chroma.
Shit. Chrome Wire shit. So, Chrome Wire shit. The town is hot. I mean, this is a remix. Um,
Okay.
yeah, and then okay, the genesis of this whole project was that my dad called me one time, and then we were talking, and then like we need to do some projects. It was money related, so that's when he used the term "town is hot." I mean, I already knew it because
Yeah.
people will be calling you from Ghana, asking you, "Yo, bro, can you spot me this, bro?"
And if you're an
Forgive me,
immigrant,
so
you
bro, I'm
know
sick.
this. You
You know,
know this.
so even though I'm not in Ghana, I'm living in the US, I can feel the pressure that always comes from Ghana. Like, so it's like I'm even staying there with them because anything
Yeah.
that's going on there somehow falls on me too, not just my family, my friends. So, and then also when you go on social media, everybody's talking about it. So that's how
Yeah.
the whole thing started. So I was like, wow, Town is really hot. So the original song, the title is Town Hot. And then uh, I just wanted to talk about the situations that were on ground. So it's like a fun check. So the song just pretty much talks about what's really going on right now in Ghana,
Right.
how
Let me
things
chip in
going
here,
on. Yeah,
Jadu. Let me chip in here. I want to know, how did you come about contacting all of these people? That's one of the biggest things that I was wondering, and
yeah.
I didn't want to ask you. I wanted you to tell me for the first time whilst it's in record, and
Okay.
then we can actually have this recorded there, or for history. How did you begin? 'Cause I know it's not that easy. So how did the process even begin to
I
happen?
think that the biggest one was getting Strongman on a record. My senior brother is a fan of him. I'm a fan of him
I
too.
am
So
too. I
I
am
was
too.
we were looking for a great rapper to put on the record. So I called my brother like, yo, who should we put on it? And it's a drill song. So automatically we thought about Kumerica. So we needed to get somebody from Kumasi. But if you're going for somebody from Kumasi, there's only one person you can really go for. So Strongman was the best option. So that's why we went for him. And my brother just contacted his manager, and then uh, okay, the whole reason why he jumped on the song was we sent him the audio. So he listened to it and was like, yeah, let's do it. So like he didn't really, give us like any tug of war. Like as soon as he heard the chorus, he was like,
Cause
yeah,
it
this
was
is
it was
it.
kind of his thing too. I could tell. I was
Exactly.
like, this song is so
Yeah.
perfect. I don't know how he came about and actually chose Strongman, but
Yeah.
this was his lane, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
he loved it and he didn't give us no
yeah.
problem at all. So that's how we got him for JFK is my blood cousin. So like I
Oh,
told you,
okay.
the thing runs in the family.
I
So
see. I see.
JFK's mother is my father's junior sister. So like
Okay.
I told you, this runs in the family. So me and JFK go back. We do music. We have a lot of songs together. And then Eugene
Also,
Alday
it
is the one who
wasn't
played
too
the
hard.
beat. Yeah, Eugene Alday played the beats for Chrome Wire shit. So Eugene
Oh wow.
Alday
And
is
then
my
and
engineer,
then he
my
jumped
producer.
on it too, because I think he has something on there, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's a multi-talented,
Okay.
artist. He sings, he raps, he produces, so and he makes and masters. So he does it all. So that's my go-to guy for records like this. So yeah, that's how I was able to get all those talents together. I knew it was a big song, so I needed to put all this big
Right.
talents on
And it
it. Yeah.
is. Shout out to Comerica, by the way. And who else in Kumasi would you want to work with next?
So far as they are willing to work with me, yeah, we can get it done. I mean, that's how I feel. So I'm open to working with all of them. Yeah, so I actually have one or two people in mind for my next records, which we can talk about on the next podcast. But yeah, definitely, you'll be seeing more of them on my records.
I know this question that I'm about to ask. How do you juggle your personal life, career, and music in America? It's crazy. I don't know how you're doing it.
It's tough. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough. Um, as for the music making, that's not a problem. Like because music is again, it's my way of releasing stress. Actually, that's the first thing. Doing music releases
Okay.
stress for me. So anytime I'm stressed, I write or I do music. So anytime I'm stressed, I come to the studio, yell, shout, then I feel good. So that aspect, I'm able to fit into the lifestyle because anytime I'm stressed, or I try to use that as a way or a means to release my stress. The only problem for me is the content making and the
Yeah.
promotion. That's what I really struggle with because of you need time to go shoot this piece of content. You need time to go talk to these people. You need time to go perform. You need time to go do the open mics. So that's the main issue that I have. But um, hopefully one day, not hopefully, when this becomes a full time career, we'll
Oh,
just
so you're
have to
planning
probably
to?
maybe
Okay, that was going to be my next question. That was going to be my next
yeah.
question. Do you have any other upcoming projects? I know it's hard. I know it's tough, and time is of the essence. Do you have any projects at all?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I do. So the plan is to focus on promoting Chrome for now. But then after it gains the momentum that I'm looking for, the plan is to release an EP this year. So
Oh wow.
just want to
Okay.
let folks know an EP sometime this year. The songs are ready. Uh, I mean, I have about 20 songs that have been mixed and mastered. So if I want to release an album right now, I can release it.
Any artists that you want
So
to whisper into our ears, or no? Or it's just you just wanted to be surprised?
it would be a surprise. It would be a great surprise.
Okay. Okay. Nobody. A magician never tells. I understand. I
They see,
understand.
yeah,
I
for keep
understand.
them
Hey,
low.
yeah. So I usually I don't try to like bore people with too much long conversation. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap up here. Before we do that though, is there anything else you want us to know? Is there anything else you want to put out there to fans, family, friends, whoever? Is there anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I think I would just want to ask for support. Right now it's not easy breaking through the industry. So all I want to do is like ask for the support. Just take your time, go listen to my music. Just go on YouTube. Look for Jadu. Then Jadu.
Okay.
Then Kromwaishi. Kromwaishi is Krom, and then Aye, then Shi. So just check it out. If you like it, just subscribe, and then by that way you can get more, content from me. And then also, I'd like you guys to just follow up with me on Instagram. That would be Jadu Music, so Jadu Zik Music. So that you can follow me on Instagram. So I just need, the support. People, if you want to see what I'm doing, just follow my channels, my
Yeah.
handles,
Yeah.
so you can see what we're doing. The idea is to put positive vibes into the atmosphere, and I cannot do that without the support from the fans. So
With the
please
fans.
join me on this journey and see me as I grow. And you can only do that by sharing my content. So
Right.
that's
And
all I
let
got.
us
I
all
want
grow,
to
grow
ask you.
together. Yeah, in this world now, because of social media and everything else that's going on in the world, there's so much um there's so much that a person can do. There's so far that a person can go. And then also at the same with the same token, you can also be overlooked because there's
Oh
so
yeah.
much opportunities for just like this podcasting that we all doing. There's millions of podcasts. I know
Oh
there's
yeah.
billions of people in the world, but then there's millions of podcasts too. So getting people to stick with you and listen to what you're saying, even though it makes sense, it's hard. It's also how do you go about it? You just go about it being authentic, being yourself, like I'm doing right now, and I see that's what you're doing as well too. Being yourself,
Right.
putting out there what your true self you believe in, and that's exact thing that I think if we go back, we can actually go far, and that's what you're doing. So you're doing pretty great. One thing I wanted to ask is what do you intend on doing? Because this is one of the problems I know for one of the people you mentioned here. earlier, which is Sakodi, and most Ghanaian artists as well too. We have been criticized. I have criticized some of these artists over the years as to, it seems like when we make music or when we create anything entertaining, it's made for just Ghanaians because most of the songs are being heard and being understood properly, if I should say, because music
Mhm.
doesn't have a boundary. You'll be surprised. Sometimes I listen to Latin music, like Latin music, Spanish,
Yeah.
and I don't speak Spanish. I can just resonate with it. Right, the
Hmm.
beat was so good, the rhythm was so good. I don't hear the words. I have it on my playlist. Why? Because it's music.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of UK rap. Why? Because I started learning English in the UK way before I moved over to America and started learning the American
Yeah.
way. And the American way is not different from the UK because it's just the pronunciations that change, stuff like that. So, do you have any plans of mitigating around this issue, or it's an issue because we've been criticized? I know most Ghanaian artists have been criticized about how much tree or how much Ghanaian language we put in our songs, and it's not some way balancing the songs for us, and it seems like it's just made for Ghanaians alone. Do you have any setbacks with that, or are you planning on? Is there anything else you can say about that? Basically,
Uh,
that's what I'm trying to
I
find out.
can only, I would say I don't right now. The reason why I can boldly say that is because so everybody listens to music for different reasons. Like you mentioned, the Latin music, you don't understand the language, but you like the rhythm, So, so it's just you have to make sure that your melody is good. So if they don't understand your language, they can listen to your, they just enjoy the melody, because like music is waves, so naturally it will just catch you. So and then some people prefer the words, the lyrics. So for those people, they want to understand your words. So um, I think what I would say is that we have to be authentic. So maybe the chorus should be in English, and then the verse should be in G, and then so that at least you can catch them with your chorus, and then still deliver in your native language. Or maybe the first verse should be English, and the last verse can be what in your local dialect. So I mean that's what I do. What I try to do is that like my chorus are usually like um, in um, in English. But if the hook is very catchy, like Kromoashi, for instance, I have a lot of friends here in Florida, from Haiti, Puerto Rico, uh, Jamaica, and they are vibing to it. It's like I
Yeah,
don't understand what you're saying, bro, but like this is a
it's
vibe.
hard. It's
That's all.
hard.
People are
Just
killing it.
like I
And I
like
wasn't surprised.
the UK rap. Some of the things they say sometimes goes over my head. I don't get it, but
Mhm.
it's the rhythm. They just go in, and then I'm sitting here shaking my head. Okay, okay, okay. But
Exactly.
and then also some people. I asked that question because some people are saying someone like Black Sharif, right, from Ghana.
Hmm.
His music ever since he came out and he actually gained popularity. He's just every single song he puts out is actually just going and banging, and
Exactly.
and
So
and
I was
that's
about to talk
mhm.
about that.
And that's because I
It's
feel
made
personally
promotion.
he is promotion one, and two, I also feel
Yeah.
personally that he's putting about 60-80% of English in his songs.
Mhm.
Black Sherry barely speaks any Tree or Ghanaian
Yeah.
dialect in his songs at all. If do
Yeah.
you think
But
that's the
I don't really think
reason?
that I don't really think it's a language. I think it just have a little part to do with it. The main thing is the exposure, so promotion. So if you have the funds to promote it to the audience, and like you keep promoting, and they fall in love with you, then the language doesn't matter no more. So and that's something I'm struggling with right now, and that's something I'm trying to overcome, like just the promotion aspect, to
Right.
get the music out there. Now, when people gets to understand who you are, what you're about, it doesn't matter. Even they will now try to even learn your language, and that's a good thing, because I know our fellow brothers Nigerians do use their local dialects, and people still enjoy. It's just a matter of like
And
putting in
sometimes we
some
sing
work.
it word for word and we don't even understand. I know. I just had to ask this
Exactly.
question just for people that have those mindsets and that have those kind of way of thinking to also get your perspective about this particular topic, because I've had so many conversations about that privately and publicly about it. It's like, oh, do you guys think because we're speaking too much P in our songs? And people are like, yes. Other people say no. For me, I'm kind of neutral. Sometimes I have a bias towards, well, yeah, maybe they should speak more English. And then I get to a point, I listen to a certain song, I was like, this song was really good. It didn't have to be any other language to actually make sense, or to be nice. Yeah, to be like your
Yeah.
best story,
So
your best story, y'all talk made waves in the UK. Your best story, and no single person that's actually really not friends with a Ghanaian understood your best story, what it means. Your best story, that means we will rise up and take what's ours.
exactly.
But we said in our own dialect, and the way it was, the rhythm, it was like the whole vibe that came with the song. When you hear the song, you
What's
just
the vibe?
want to nod your head like, okay, this beat is hard, this rhythm is hard. Whatever they're saying, I don't
And
know
then
it.
Stormzy.
Yeah, he killed it. He killed it. So that made the song.
Yeah,
So yeah, you're right.
exactly.
Exposure, exposure. Is
Yeah.
there
So and
anything?
then Stormzy
Mhm.
gave him that exposure, So that's promotion right there.
Right,
And
right, right.
Stormzy had the platform, and
And
then
he had it.
by him bringing him on board,
Yes.
that was it.
Yes. Hey, we have to do this again, man. We have to have a second conversation where we talk about music, but we will talk about.
I'm
Let's
out
talk.
for it.
I was looking for somebody that I also can talk about the past. I know we don't live in the past, but we can talk about the past and reminisce the good times. You and I, we've had good times together in high school, man. Let's talk about that on the
Too
next.
much.
Yeah, let's talk about that in the next episode.
Uh,
Reminisce.
I mean, high school was fun. High school was fun.
It was fun. Let's talk about people that are, some of them, unfortunately, God bless their souls, they're not here. We can talk about that. Don't let me. I don't want to try to get emotional on this particular episode. So
Oh, man.
let me just put my
I know.
first shift the gears a little bit, because I was starting to get sad. But yeah, let's do that. We'll try to find out another time and bring about another episode and talk about your music into much depth, and then just personally talk about things that we experiences in the past, But before I let you go, this is my last question, and then whatever you have to say, if you want to give us a freestyle after this, that the mic will be over to you. But is there anything that
Mhm.
you expect your fans or listeners or whoever that happens to stumble on your song to take away? What, and if there's something, what is it that you think they should take away from it?
Only two words. Only two words. Positive vibes.
Positive vibes.
Positive
Okay.
vibes. Yeah.
Positive vibes.
Take
Okay.
vibes. Either it's going to be about happiness, either it's going to be about advice, either it's going to be about fan check. It has to be a positive vibe, No negativity over here. Only positive vibes.
No negativity over here. Okay. Okay. Do you want to do your thing? The mic is over to you
Oh
now.
yeah, of course. I need to bless y'all with Chrome Wire and shit.
Let's hear
And
you.
yes, I make you leave me alone. And yes, I make you no blow my phone now. Chrome Wire, she, oh. Chrome Wire, she. Nyebe di yenya. Nyebe num yenya chale. Chrome Wire, she, oh. She, me.
Yes, it's a war. Yes.
Charlie, Chrome Wire, she, yeah,
Yep. Thank you,
that
man.
was
Thank
hot.
you, Jadu. Hey, thanks for blessing this show. I do appreciate you for taking my time for you, but from out of your busy schedule. I know you're busy, man. We all busy out here. My name is Gideon. Today I had a really nice conversation to Jadu, Jadu. You can find his music on all platforms. I've seen his music on stream. I keep streaming it as part of my playlist. Please take a look at it. It's on Spotify. It's called Chrome Hayashi. I'll put the link of the song, the new song. I'll put both the Spotify and the YouTube and everywhere else. It's on all platforms, by the way, but I'll put the YouTube and the Spotify and the rest of the links in this episode once it's published. Like always, it's been your host, Gideon, and I had a really nice conversation with Jadu, like I said. We are out for now, and then we catch you guys later. Bye-bye.